Hello, faithful people of God. I'm Minister Sandra. Welcome to my YouTube channel, In Your Captivity. It's about ending abuse in marriages and relationships the Jesus way. You know, Jesus rescued me out of two abusive marriages that had grown to the showing of a gun and the talk of wanting to kill me. And I would ask the abuser, why do you want to kill me? And he would just flatly reply, I don't want to, but I will. And that's what's happening in our society today. Abuse has grown so a serious problem in our society. Lives are being taken. Marriages and relationships are being utterly destroyed. I say Jesus rescued me because I literally heard his voice saying, I'm not going to keep rescuing you. Because I had been letting and allowing the abuser. He would abuse and abandon me, come back. Abuse and abandon me, come back. And the Bible says that abusers, a lot of times, the things that they do is like a sport. It's sports to them. It's fun to a lot of abusers. And so by Jesus saying, I'm not going to keep rescuing you, he let me know he had been rescuing me in the past and protecting me from some of the abuse circumstances that I had been going through. But he was letting me know that I was letting and allowing too much, too long. I was staying in the abuse too long and letting and allowing it. Because, one thing about abuse is that it grows. It grows and grows and grows. So my abuse had grown from verbal abuse. It had grown from emotional abuse. It had grown from financial abuse. It had grown from sexual abuse. It had grown from spiritual abuse. It had grown from physical abuse to now wanting your life, grown to killing. Even in the other phases, other abuses, there's the risk of being killed in those abuse phases as well. But Jesus was letting me know that he had been protecting me, but I was letting and allowing the enemy. I was not doing things the Jesus way. And I was just staying in the abuse when he had been trying to get me out, giving me opportunities and doors to stop the abuse and get out and survive and thrive. Well, when Jesus spoke to me and said, I'm not going to keep rescuing you, I knew I was at life crossroads and I had to choose life or death. And I'm so glad I chose to do it the Jesus way, to obey the voice of Jesus and not allow the abuser to come back and to stop the abuse, to stop what was familiar in my life, to go past the fear, feel the fear and do it anyway. So I just thank Jesus for helping me. I say, whatever Jesus rescues you from or delivers you from becomes your platform, and that's true for me. My godly assignment is to speak against intimate partner abuse, domestic abuse, intimate partner violence, domestic violence, to speak against it and to increase awareness, and to also give my testimony and be transparent with examples out of my own life abuse circumstances, and to shine the light and expose the spiritual enemies that devise evil and wicked strategies and techniques and influence the abuser to carry them out against the targets of abuse, and to endorse the Jesus way and to encourage the Jesus way, the following of the Jesus way, for the destruction and destroying of the spiritual enemies and their devices, and to stop the abuse and to promote survival and thriving. I say thriving because Jesus not only helped me to survive, but to thrive. You know, I had been coerced by the abuser to put his name on a home that I owned before I even met him. And once I did that, guess what happened? The abuser abandoned me and left, but he had his name on my house. But by obeying the Jesus way and doing things the Jesus way, fighting the Jesus way, Jesus humbled the abuser down and he quick claimed the house back over to me. I got my van back. The abuser had taken the van and left me solely financially responsible for paying the note. But the Jesus way got the van back to me. Also, the Jesus way helped me, empowered me to write a book. It's called In Your Captivity. It's about ending abuse in marriages and relationships the Jesus way. God gave me the gift of rhyme. So they're rhyming abuse stories and Jesus' deliverance out of those circumstances. It's available nationwide, and I encourage everyone to get my book. Also, I was able to get my divorce based on improper marital conduct. You know, the Jesus way humbled the abuser down to where he agreed on the terms of improper marital conduct. You know, that's awesome. That's a victorious way. That's a victorious winning team. The Jesus way make you victorious in all areas of your life. And the Jesus way defeats the enemy. The enemy team is a losing team anyway. They've already been tried, sentenced, and it's just waiting on execution. They're already a losing team, already defeated foes. Also, the Jesus way helped me to be able to speak at correctional facilities and do domestic violence awareness classes to correctional facilities. So I encourage the Jesus way, the endorsing of the Jesus way. You know, before Jesus rescued me out of my abuse situations, I was fighting the abuser the way I thought was the right way to fight. But all I was doing was fighting like the abuser, which is never the right way. You can never win that way. You know, it used to be we would do an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a hand for a hand, a bruise for a bruise, a wound for a wound. But we don't fight like that anymore. Excuse me. Why? Because of Jesus. Jesus, when he came, he made things better for us. You know, there's a lot of things Jesus did for us that we know of and things that we don't even think about. But when Jesus came, died on the cross, was buried, rose the third day morning, and as he was ascending up into heaven to be on the right hand of the Father, he said, I draw all men unto me. That means we're all in Jesus. We're all in him. We're all together as one. So that's why now we have to do unto others as we want them to do unto us. Why? Because whatever we do to someone else comes back on us. Whatever someone else does to us comes back on them. That's why husbands and wives are to love their spouse as they love themselves. That's why we are to love our neighbors as we love ourselves and treat our neighbors as we want to be treated. Because why? We're all in it together now. So that's why we choose Jesus, the Jesus way, the winning way. The way that is the truth and the life. You know, domestic violence has transcended all areas of society. So, you know, it's transcended age, race, gender, socioeconomic levels, sexual orientation. You know, domestic abuse, domestic violence can be found in young teen dating. And it can also be found in elderly couples, relationships. Domestic abuse, domestic violence, intimate partner abuse, violence can be found in million dollar homes It can also be found in the ghettos. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, Asian, Indian. It doesn't matter about your nationality or race. Abuse is found in all races. It doesn't matter about your sexual orientation. You can be heterosexual, bisexual, same sex. Abuse is found in same-sex relationships as well. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. Abuse is found in both women and men. But it's still more women that are being abused in our society than men. 1 to 4 to women and 1 to 7 to men. But as more men are coming forward and telling about their abuse circumstances, what's happening to them in their relationships and marriages, what's happening to them behind closed doors, more men numbers are increasing. But currently, more women are under the effects of abuse circumstances. Well, you know, I had a male cousin that was killed by his girlfriend as he attempted to reach and get food out of her plate. She stabbed him to death. I had a co-worker that was telling me about his sister, who was a nurse, on her way to work at the entrance of a hospital. Her abusive ex-boyfriend shot and killed her. Another co-worker was telling me about her sister who was returning home with her boys from the movies, only to find an abusive ex-boyfriend hiding in the home who killed her. A friend of mine was telling me about her aunt who was in an abusive relationship, and as the abuser was kissing her, he was also deceiving her because he stabbed her in the back as he kissed her. You know, we all probably have abuse stories and circumstances that we can tell about and talk about or share that may have happened to, you know, we ourselves, or it may be from someone that you know, someone else that you know that was abused, or it may be someone that you suspect that was abused. That's why we all have to work together to stop abuse. We all need to be skilled in the Jesus way, skilled in knowing how to deal with abuse situations, how to deal with tempters, how to deal with seducers, how to deal with deceivers and tricksters and foolers and fighters, how to deal with traps, words to trap you, questions to trap you, to put you in captivity and bondage. We all can benefit from vital information and awareness in the Jesus way of dealing with circumstances and situations and how to reply. You know, what is the difference between intimate partner abuse and intimate partner violence? What's the difference between intimate partner abuse violence and domestic abuse violence? What's the definition? Where intimate partner abuse violence is romantic relationships, romantic partnerships, marriages, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, live-in couples, live-in relationships, ex-live-in relationships, ex-live-in couples, ex-spouses, divorced couples. It's having to do with romantic relationships, whereas domestic abuse, domestic violence has to do with not so much a romantic relationship, but just family members, household members, members in your household, like children, a cousin that may be staying in the household, a grandparent, or an in-law. And the abuse can grow from the intimate partners, the romantic relationship in the household, to non-romantic, to children, cousins, in-laws, grandparents, whoever else is living in the household. And that's usually what happens with once the abuser can get the intimate partner under their power, authority, and control, then they normally do start targeting others in the home, and usually it can be the children. Well, what's the definition? Domestic violence, intimate partner violence, abuse is learned, chosen, and maintained strategies and techniques to gain power, authority, and control over a targeted victim. But there's hope in that definition. Y'all hear the hope? If it's learned, that means it can be unlearned. If it's chosen, that means it can be rejected. It can be refused. If it's maintained, that means it can be starved out, not fed. It takes 21 days to change a habit. So thank God, Jesus, God has made our bodies to where our bodies are able to change. We're able to throw out what we don't want anymore. And so that's hope. It's hope for domestic violence. It's hope for intimate partner violence, abuse. That's why we have awareness. That's why we talk about it. This is the decade of pay, P-E-Y, which means mouth. That means we are to be speaking, telling, and helping to stop abuse. So if this channel has been beneficial to you, the information is beneficial, I encourage everyone to subscribe to my channel. I encourage you all to be skilled in the ending of abuse, and to be skilled in choosing Jesus as Lord and Savior, and to choose Jesus as a spiritual advisor, and to always act at God's mouth. So subscribe to my channel, like, share, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also in Clubhouse. My Clubhouse room is entitled Abuse, Stop the Foolishness. So continue to watch my videos as more information is given. Peace be unto you, and overflow blessings.